Most people don't realize that Christianity took root in Africa long before it spread widely across Europe. Long before colonization and long before missionaries, there was a powerful African kingdom that embraced Christianity on its own terms. That kingdom was Axum, an empire that once ruled parts of modern-day Ethiopia, Eritrea, Sudan, and even across the Red Sea into Yemen. Known for its towering obelisks, vibrant trade, and its early embrace of Christianity, Axum was more than just a regional power, it was a global player in the ancient world. In this documentary we take a closer look at the Kingdom of Axum, how it rose to power, the role of trade and faith in its growth, and how it became the first major Christian empire in Africa. We'll also explore the legacy that still lives on in Ethiopia today. This is a story of faith, identity, and African power you won't find in most history books. The Kingdom of Axum began to take shape around the 1st century CE in the Horn of Africa. What started as a small kingdom eventually grew into one of the most powerful and influential empires of its time. Located strategically between the Nile River and the Red Sea, Axum controlled some of the most important trade routes in the ancient world. This gave it access to goods and ideas from Rome, India, Arabia, Persia, and the African interior. Gold, ivory, frankincense, myrrh, spices, and enslaved people flowed through its ports and markets. Axum wasn't just participating in global trade, it was leading it. And with that wealth came the power to expand, build, and influence. One of the clearest symbols of Axum's influence was its coinage. They were the first African empire to mint their own coins, often using Greek inscriptions. These coins showed the world that Axum was a serious power, and gave us a glimpse into how it saw itself. The empire also left behind another symbol of its strength: massive stone obelisks known as stelae. These were intricately carved monoliths, some over 30 meters tall, serving as royal tomb markers and cultural landmarks. They're still standing today, silent witnesses to a long-forgotten African empire. But as powerful as Axum was, its greatest legacy wouldn't be measured in trade or monuments. It would be measured in faith. Around the 4th century CE, something remarkable happened in Axum, something that would forever shape the region's identity. A young king named Ezana came to power. He was educated and deeply influenced by a Christian Syrian named Frumentius, who had survived a shipwreck and been taken in by the royal family. Over time, Frumentius became a trusted advisor, and more importantly, a teacher of Christian belief. Ezana didn't just listen, he believed. And when he became king he made a bold move. He declared Christianity the official religion of Axum. This wasn't under pressure from Rome or any foreign empire. It was a sovereign choice, a deliberate, African-led shift toward a new spiritual foundation. Ezana's decision was historic. Axum became one of the first major empires in the world to adopt Christianity as state policy, right after Rome. And this happened entirely within Africa. Under Ezana's reign, churches were built, coins bore Christian crosses, and Frumentius was appointed the first bishop of Axum by the Patriarch of Alexandria. This wasn't a borrowed identity. Christianity in Axum grew from within, combining local customs, language, and art with Christian teachings. Over time, this fusion gave birth to one of the world's oldest Christian traditions, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. This African empire didn't just accept Christianity, it helped define it. Like many empires, Axum's rise was eventually followed by decline. Several things worked against it. The rise of Islamic caliphates along Red Sea trade routes shifted power away from Axum's ports. Climate change and deforestation weakened agriculture. And over time, political instability chipped away at the empire's strength. But even as Axum's political and economic power faded, its spiritual legacy remained strong. The people of the Ethiopian highlands preserved their faith, sometimes in isolation, sometimes under threat. They built rock-hewn churches, kept ancient scriptures written in Guizi, and passed down rituals through generations. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church became a pillar of identity, long after Axum fell from political power. Today, Axum is still considered one of Ethiopia's holiest sites. The Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion stands as a sacred space, believed by many to house the Ark of the Covenant. Whether that's true or not, what matters is the belief, the spiritual thread that still runs through the region. Christianity didn't come to Africa with European ships. It was already here. And it was deeply African from the beginning. The story of Axum challenges what many people think they know about Africa and Christianity. This was an empire that stood tall in trade, faith, and culture, led by African rulers making their own choices. King Ezana's conversion wasn't just a personal moment, it was a historical milestone. It showed that Africa didn't need to be converted by outsiders. It had its own path, its own voice, and its own faith. Today, the legacy of Aksum lives on, in the rituals of the Ethiopian Church, in the architecture of ancient churches, and in the stories passed down through generations. If you found this story powerful, consider sharing it. Subscribe to this channel for more stories that reveal the truth about Africa's rich and complex past. Because Africa was never in the background, it was always part of the main story.